Hello everyone! This one's for all my combo lovers out there. Today we're going to be playing Teshar, Ancestor's Apostle in Historic Brawl. Now this is a 4-mana 2/2 creature with flying, and whenever we cast a historic spell, so that's artifact spells, legendary spells, and sagas, we get to return a creature card with mana value 3 or less from our graveyard to the battlefield. So as you can imagine, this synergizes really well with things like Sacrifice outlets. We have Ashnod's Altar, Altar of Dementia, things like that, where we can continually sacrifice historic spells and then get them back onto the battlefield with that ability when we go ahead and cast those. We also have a ton of different artifact synergies in this deck, and a bunch of very powerful creatures at that 3 or less cost point. So things like Workshop Assistant is going to be really strong for us. When it dies, we can return an artifact from our graveyard to our hand. Notably, something like Mishra's Bauble actually goes really well with that, because, again, we can play that Mishra's Bauble as a historic spell. We can get Workshop Assistant back. We can sacrifice Workshop Assistant to get Mishra's Bauble, play Mishra's Bauble, and then we've generated a loop there with a whole bunch of ETBs, and we can draw as many cards as we want off the Bauble. There's, of course, other things that we can do in this deck as well, as we're getting more and more enter the battlefield triggers. We have Teleportation Circle actually to help us with the ETBs on some of our creatures. We'll get some additional value that way. And then, of course, we have a bunch of different spells that are going to be giving us tons of value when recurred. We also do include Oswald Fiddlebender here. Oswald is going to be great for not only getting those artifact creatures that we have into our graveyard to get back with Teshar, but it's also going to find us exactly the artifacts we need to go ahead and build our board state. So finding Altar of Dementia, finding Ashnod's Altar, getting that sack outlet is going to be great and very easy with Oswald in play. Now, if you guys have been enjoying my videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on my latest content. And if you do enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like. Let's go ahead and see how this deck does. Alright, so this looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and keep this opening hand. Start with a Traveler's Amulet. Alright, Goldhound. Not a bad start for our opponent. Let's go for the Moonsilver Key. Guardian Idol, so they'll be doing a little bit of ramping. I think we actually want to keep our opponent off as much ramp as possible. So we're going to get rid of Guardian Idol. Then we have a couple of different options for next turn. Yep, there's Cold Steel Heart. Okay. So our opponent doesn't really have all too many lands. I think we were right to do what we did. Now there is Mesmeric Orb, so let's go ahead and activate this. We'll go ahead and get ourselves a land. We'll play out the orb. And we'll activate the Moonsilver Key. And then from here we can get Ashnod's Altar, which is really strong for us. Let's see, is there anything else that we'd want instead? I don't think so. I think we're just going to take Ashnod's Altar. And then we'll just attack and tap. Do some milling of our opponent. Opponent plays out their commander. Next turn we can go Teleportation Circle. See, we're going to mill ourselves a little bit here. Let's just go for the Teleportation Circle. Now, you could make a case for trying to get our commander out, but I think this is going to be the better play. Alright, they sacrifice here. Skyclave goes into the graveyard. They'll get a guy. And then no need to use that circle yet. But now we have it. Okay. Dealing a little bit of damage. I think they're going to go ahead and sacrifice this and scry. Yep. Now we can use this for 1, though that's not really going to be the play just yet. Okay, good amount of damage that we took there. We're going to mill just a little bit more. Would have been nice to draw Mishra's Bauble, but that's okay. See, we can go for Lauren, destroy the Cold Steel Heart. Or I think we just get our commander out onto the battlefield. I think this is going to be the better play. And then hope our opponent doesn't have a removal spell. We're going to be able to get a bunch more value out of this. Okay. Milling our opponent some more. They do have lots of expensive cards that they can go ahead when they exile. So we do want to get rid of our opponent's commander fairly quickly. Okay. Thankfully, they hit a mountain. Yep. And we'll just let our opponent draw a card here. Yep. They can draw that, that's fine. Alright, looking good. So now we have a couple of things we can do. Let's start with the Esper Sentinel, because that's going to give us a trigger. We'll go Skyclave. Skyclave's going to hit their commander, because we don't want to be dealing with their commander anymore. Then I think we want to go Ashnod's Altar. Though if we go Foundry Inspector and Hope, we'll actually get more creatures out onto the battlefield this turn. So let's grab Bounty Agent here, and then we'll play out the Hope. And I think we want to take Oswald. Then we'll attack with our commander, deal that 2 damage, and then we'll flicker Skyclave. And I think we'll take that on the ETB. Opponent's gonna mill a bunch. We should be set up in a pretty decent spot, especially with our Ashnod's Altar now. Okay, board cleared. That's fine. Yep, back in the command zone. Alright, so now how do we want to do this? I think we should probably go for the Ornithopter here so we can get our commander out quickly. So I think that's what we'll do. We'll just play the Ornithopter. Submit 0 and pass. Our opponent is milling a lot, actually, so we are in a pretty okay spot that way. We do have to be a little bit concerned about all of their creature threats, Nightmare Shepherd as well. Okay, no blocks. Probably gonna boast here, put something on top. Notably, they left their commander in the graveyard, I believe. Or I guess in exile. That's very odd. Okay. Now, how do we want to do this here? I think we'll pick 2. Go ahead, cast this X2. We get the Spellbinder. Get this guy as well. We'll go ahead and exile the Nightmare Shepherd. Make Ulamog more expensive. And then... what do I want to flicker? Flickering that won't matter, so I guess we'll just flicker the Spellbinder. Not that it particularly does anything. Unfortunately for us, Vargoth actually doesn't really do anything, boasting-wise. Because we have Mesmeric Orb. Our opponent is top-decking at this point. I think we go ahead and block this, keep Vargoth. Metalwork Colossus. Not too concerned about that. Our opponent has to sacrifice 2 artifacts to get this back in their hand. So I think we go Lauren, get rid of their Cold Steel Heart. Or let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we'll just play out our commander instead. No attacks. And we'll just untap our Ornithopter. Maybe they find the next artifact, I don't know. Again, we're gonna let Vargoth hit us. Okay, doing a little bit more milling, and now we're gonna start actually getting our value with our commander on the battlefield. Let's go Lauren here. We're gonna grab Skyclave. Skyclave's gonna hit Vargoth. Lauren's gonna hit Cold Steel Heart. We'll move to combat. Orcish Bowmasters, alright. Now that does mean that they get their Nightmare Shepherd back, but it won't be for long. Let's go Ashnod's Altar here. We can get him back again and just take. Or we can flicker at the end of turn. We have a couple of different choices. I think I want to... I think I'm gonna actually just gain some life. We have gaining life, and we'll have card draw here. We'll end the turn. Flicker Skyclave. Get rid of Nightmare Shepherd. Keep that in exile. Okay, Mind Stone. We can flicker Lauren to get rid of that. They're probably going to use it to draw a card, though. Okay, that's a land. Block with the Familiar here. We'll draw a card. Opponent can ping down Lauren. I'm actually fine with that, because Crypt gets Lauren back. Nope, they go face. That is definitely the better choice. Okay. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're not looking at Ulamog mana just yet, so let's go ahead and do this. And what do we want to grab back? Honestly, I think we'll grab Patchwork. Let's go Ornithopter. We can return another permanent to our hand with this. Could be strong, kind of like this. So let's grab this. Pull back that. Then let's sacrifice the Ornithopter for some mana. Recast our Crypt. Let's go get our Workshop Assistant. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and sacrifice our Workshop Assistant. And let's go get... Honestly, we'll go get our Effigy. I kind of like this. Play out the Effigy. Let's grab the Familiar. Gain a little bit more life. We'll go sacrifice this. Inscribed Tablet. Selfless Savior. We can play Cathar Commando off the top if we want to. I think we just use our tablet here instead, though. Darksteel Citadel. Things are looking pretty good for us. Okay, grab an artifact and an enchantment out of here. Let's grab this. Ornithopter. Workshop Assistant. Workshop Assistant gonna get sacrificed. I think I want Mystic Forge here. Play out the Mystic Forge. Gonna go grab you. Keep on buffing the Patchwork Automaton. We can cast our Glass Casket here. With this, let's go ahead get this guy. We'll go ahead get rid of their biggest token. This is gonna hit the Bowmaster. Sacrifice an Ornithopter. That gives us the mana we need for Mind Stone. Gonna get the Workshop Assistant. Another +1/+1 counter here. Then, let's see, sacrifice the Workshop Assistant. Let's grab an Ornithopter. Go ahead, cast this altar off the top. Let's grab Oswald. Ornithopter. Workshop Assistant. Okay, let's go ahead and sacrifice the Ornithopter for some mana. Sacrifice the Workshop Assistant for some mana. I think we want to go ahead and grab our Inscribed Tablet here. Cast this. Return our Workshop Assistant. Activate this. We're gonna grab the Buried Ruin. Gonna go ahead cast Tormod's Crypt as well. Grab our Specialist. Pay 1 life. See what we have next. Swiftfoot Boots. Let's go and grab ourselves Spirited Companion, I think. Draw that card. Now we definitely want to equip our boots to our Patchwork Automaton. Let's go sacrifice this. What do we want to return to our hand? Let's grab our Ornithopter. And let's grab Curse of Silence. Ornithopter. We'll draw a card. Now, let's see, 37 left. We are close I think we can sacrifice this guy here. We'll sacrifice the workshop assistant as well. Let's go and grab ourselves a Cold Steel Heart. Play this on white. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and return this guy. Get rid of that, and now we have lethal on board. Okay, everyone, I know that was a little bit different. Make sure you expect long games when you're playing this deck. You know, there's not really going to be a fast and straightforward way to rush to victory here. That being said, though, we do have a ton of recursive value and lots of different loops that we can assemble in order to get additional value out of our creatures, out of our artifacts, and with all of those ETBs. Slow and steady wins the race, and eventually we are going to get to that win. It's really important that we actually keep our commander out onto the battlefield. We can recover from a lot of poor board states just by the merit of being able to bring things back out of our graveyard. And it does give us that toolbox kind of effect where we can pick and choose exactly what we want on the battlefield when we want it there. Again, my only word of caution here is that game that you just saw took a fairly long amount of time, and most other games you'll play with him are also going to take a similar amount of time. So if you're looking for a long value-oriented deck, then this is the deck for you. Now, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you have any ideas for another deck you'd like to see me play, why don't you let me know in a comment down below. I'll see you all next time.